Hello, welcome to our very first YouTube live stream here. Oh boy, this feels really good to be finally doing it live with you guys. Before we start, I'd like to say a big thank you to all our YouTube subscribers. Over the years, you guys have been amazing. The support that you have been giving to us in this channel made this possible today. Thank you. And also all the e-learning subscribers that we have on our website here, www.beyond.photos. Thank you for all the support. And also our recently launched YouTube exclusive members. Thank you. It's great to have you all here today. So I'd like to say a big hi. Hurry, go down to the live chat section there. Give a shout out. Tell me which city you're tuned in live from. Okay. I know what you guys love about this channel. Our straightforward, don't waste time, photo shoot teaching. That's what you like. We're gonna be doing that the same method today. And I also know the second thing that you like, all those bloopers and funny mistakes that I make. And true, you're gonna watch them live too. I'm gonna be making mistakes live today. And it is those mistakes that I make live that's gonna make you a better photographer. Because the mistakes that I make, you don't need to make them anymore, right? That's it. Head on to the live chat. Tell me what you want to ask us about. Any questions related to photography or videography, let us know. My co-workers will select them and I'll be answering them live. Not only that, head on to your email. Send us an email at info.beyond.photos. Send us photo so that we can do a CNC session after our shoot. And I spoke about shoot. Days and weeks ago, we already have subscribers and viewers sending us questions pertaining to shoot. How to shoot this, how to shoot that. I'm going to be doing live shoots with you now. Let's start. Viewers, this is what we're going to be shooting today. An Egyptian perfume bottle made of crystal. It's an antique that I got a long time ago. And one of our viewers, Gordon Kennedy, I hope you are tuned in. You wrote to me about a week ago saying that you enjoy the lessons and all the bloopers that I've been making. And at the same time, you're saying that you would like to learn how to shoot crystal because your wife actually is a Swarovski figurine collector. Well, I'm not a collector like her, and this is like the biggest crystal that I have. So you were saying that the crystals that she has is bigger, and you were hoping that you learn how to shoot this. And this is exactly what we're going to learn to do today. I'm going to show you how you can use one light to get this shot beautifully. Now, Gordon, since you wrote in and got your question answered and showed how to shoot live, we are going to give you a subscription, a 6-month subscription to premium courses for free. That's for writing to us. So hurry, write to us in the comment section, the live chat section down there, and my co-workers will select your question. If you're selected, you win yourself our e-learning courses subscription. So do that. Now, this is what I like to do. Whenever I have something that is transparent like this, always remember this rule. When it's transparent, you need to have rear lighting or bottom lighting. And that is why I'm using my favorite acrylic stand. I shouldn't be touching this. You should be using plastic foot gloves like this that the subway workers use when they handle your sandwich. So I'm going to put this down here. So you notice that I'll always have two stools standby. So this is an acrylic stand. If you don't have this, you can actually use a wine glass, invert it, and do this, and then just make sure you have no dust. This looks horrendous. This looks so beaten out. It looks like it just went to war and come back. That's what it has been doing. And you notice that I always have two blowers. One is the big size blower, and the other one has a brush. So only now do I introduce whatever that is shiny or transparent. Whenever you have something shiny or transparent, you got to make sure that you don't see dust because they are that glossy. So I'm going to put this right here. And this thing is so unique. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that everything is oriented correctly. This is the front. I can see the etching symbols that I have here. And then what I do, I always have a blower that has a brush so I can remove, trust me, there are 2 times you can remove dust, viewers. It's before the shoot or after the shoot. And if you do it after the shoot, it's going to take you hours cleaning up dust in your Photoshop, which is not fun. So this is all done now. I'm going to take this away. So I'm going to show you one of the easiest way to do this, which is to put one flash under this item. So I'm going to take my trusty hot shoe flash. What's the power I'm going to use? I'm going to start really low, just that you have an idea. The lowest this flash can go is 1/128. If you notice that I like to use my SP800, this was given to me as a gift by Nikon Malaysia many years ago when I was their brand ambassador. So every year they ask me, what lens would you want to have? And every year I'll be saying like 1 flash. They say, oh, if you want flash, we give you 2 flashes. And I go, crafty laugh, because flash is way more useful to me than a flash. So lowest power at 1/128 at the zoom. 2 things you need to worry about your flash setting. The power, which is 1/128, and the zoom is 105 millimeter. That's going to make the light very focused. When you see the numbers big, just like your lens, that means it's more focused. If you see the numbers small, it's a wide angle. So I'm going to place this exactly right down here. And you notice one thing, if you come nearer, you notice that I like to place whatever things that I like to shoot at the front. Why do I do so? That way, when I remove the stand in my image editing software, it's way less to remove. If I do this in the center, I have to worry about removing this, and that's never nice. So we're going to push this all the way to the front. And I'm grateful the studio mascot Latte is not here. Otherwise, this is going to fall. Push this as much as you can. Make sure this is on optical trigger. Now I'm going to go to the front here, go through the camera settings that I have. So I'm not going to use an optical trigger. I'm not going to use a radio trigger. I'm going to put this aside because I know that many of you have not invested all this. All you need is just one flash, a camera, and a lens. In my case, I slapped on a 105mm lens. You don't need to. You can actually use a 50mm lens. And here's one important thing that I want to show you, is that the power that you have on a flash, you don't know it's going to be overexposed or underexposed. It's fine to make mistake. It's okay to take one shot. What is the value I'm going to use? I'm going to start with f11. All right, it's either f8 or f11, and then I'm going to go with an ISO of 200, my standard ISO. A lot of you actually wrote in and asked me, why do I like to use ISO 200? Well, this is because I was raised and born to grow up with film, and the easiest and cheapest film we have at that time is 200, and also lightest cheat sheet. That helps me to calculate how much of light that I put on the flash. It's also derived and easy to work with ISO 200. You can use 100 if you want to. And then the third thing I'm going to do is my white balance. I rarely use auto, so I'm going to swing this to Kelvin and put my white balance at 5000. And here's a trick that I want to benefit you since you're watching in this live stream. I always go a bit warmer when I'm shooting product. So it's 5260 on my Kelvin. And shutter speed, I want to have the background completely black. Look at the wall. I know it's completely white now. And that's one of the viewers that actually wrote to me saying that, you know what, I don't have the time to set up a black backdrop. And every time that I do that, my spouse will complain about this, saying that she'll disown me if I set up a black backdrop like that because it's just too big to have in the house. It's COVID pandemic in the world now. I understand that you have to work from the house. In fact, I do that a lot. And I don't need that black background. Just a white wall. White can become gray when you don't have enough of light, and gray can become darker gray and black when you don't spill enough of light on it. So ISO 200, f11, shutter speed 200. How do I know if this is right or wrong? Who cares? So I'm going to pop up my flash now. Make sure that you go to this flash. Right, so I'm going to go to this camera and show you the setting. So I'm going into menu now. So head on to the bracketing and flash. I'm using a Nikon, so it doesn't matter what camera you own. Head on into this part, this is memorable. This is Nikon's longest name in the menu. Flash control for built-in flash. They call it the built-in flash going in there. One important thing, if you're going to go out and buy yourself a camera, make sure that you have all these options and ability to do TTL on your built-in flash. Manual flash as well, because some cheaper cameras do not have the ability to do manual. Why do we need manual? Because you want to trigger that flash, right? So that flash that I put under the perfume bottle has to be triggered. Now head on back to manual and choose the lowest power. 1/128 is the lowest power. What do I mean by that? This is full power. If you fire this, it's going to be horrendous. Whatever that's, all the light source has to come from the back. So we're going to go full power, go down all the way. A good camera should have the ability to do the lowest power. If you can get a camera that can go as low as 1/256, you buy that one. So I click OK. So I'm going to turn my camera one more thing. I'm going to make sure that the setting now, take a look at my camera, at my picture control. If you own a Nikon camera, it's called a picture control. If you own a Sony camera, I think it's called a picture style. It doesn't matter. So we have picture control. Turn it to vivid now. When you're on vivid, you're more on contrast and saturation. In fact, I'm going to do that a little bit more. Because I shoot in JPEG a lot. Why? Because I'm lazy like that. All right, I explain to you more the next time we do a live stream about JPEG and also about RAW, the difference. So that is all done now. So I'm going to cover this a little bit. Focus on this crystal. That's just perfect. If you look at my viewfinder now, right, if you look at it now, you notice that if you look at the viewfinder, it is not straight. There's always a grid line that you can have on your viewfinder. So I'm coming back to here to adjust this. So there's a line that I have on my viewfinder, the grid lines. This vertical line in the center will tell me that I'm perfectly aligned. So I'm going to move this until it is, lock the tripod. That's perfect. A little bit more. You've got to be very symmetrical when you do photo shoot like this. So this is good now. Just a little bit more. I'm a bit too greedy, shooting a bit too close. Right, so this is good. Lock on the ball head. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on the center of here. Good. Now here's one thing I'm going to do. That's going to trigger that flash. Cover this. Fire. If you look at this photo now, we have two problems. Number one, the light is too narrow. So if I zoom into the product now, you notice that it's barely covering the illumination pattern. That's really important. It's not even covering the center bulb of the perfume bottle. And then if you look at this, it's also underexposed. In fact, talking about underexposure, that's one important point that I want to share with you. You don't even need to look at the histogram if you know how to grade lighting in 3 levels. In fact, Yi Chong and I, my director and I, made a video yesterday, which we're going to publish here on YouTube soon, about ensuring that you train your eyes to see underexposure and overexposure in the value of stops, true stops. So I can tell you that this is at least 2 stops underexposed, and the light needs to be wider. So I'm going to go there to this built-in flash and fix this now. So instead of 105, I'm going to bring this down to 50. So it's going to be a wider spray of light. And since it's 2 stop, I'm going to come back here, 1/128, 1 stop up is 1/64, 1/64, 1 stop up is 1/32. And then position this back here, and then come over here. Let's take a shot the same way. Take a look at this photo now. It's much better. The exposure is correct. And this is what I want you to train yourself to do. If you look at the photo now, you notice that we have one big problem. The light came from the bottom. It's brighter at the bottom. As you go up to the photo here, you notice that the top of the product has no light. Well, it makes sense. Whatever that's nearer to the light source is going to be brighter. So how do you solve this problem? I'm going to show you how you solve this problem. Look, we're going to come here and then go to your menu button. Right? So if you look at your camera's timer, you can go in there and self-timer. So I'm going to go with 5 seconds and take one shot. So that is done. And then I'm going to come to my camera and flip this to self-timer. All right, so I'm going to show you how you solve this problem, because one of the best ways to be a photographer is that your solution is elegant. When I say elegant, it means that the fewer steps and the least number of flashes used. So I'm going to come here and click on this, and in 5 seconds, take this and use a flag and position this on top. So you get a column of light going up and coming down, and that's just going to light this up. So let's take a look at what we have now on the photo. Look at this. This is beautiful. It lights up from the top to bottom. Compare this shot to the shot before. The shot and the new one. But that's one problem. If you really look carefully, the problem is that the shot here, the background looks a little bit brighter. Why? Is my flag spilling light onto the background? Viewers, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to figure out what causes this background to be brighter than the previous one. Do you see this? If you look at my photo now, the first shot, the background is darker. And if you look at the last shot we did, it's so much brighter. So I'm going to come here and delete this shot first, so that it's easier. This is the latest shot. Did you see how dark the background is? Why? All right, let me show you why. Same thing. I'm going to come here, click this, take another flag. That's the problem. This built-in flash is casting so much of light onto the background, even though it's at 1/128. So if you look at this, it's so much better now. Look at these two shots. You can see that the background is already darker. And when I have a bigger flag, the softer the light is. So I'm just going to zoom in now and show you the difference. Whatever lighting technique that I've taught you, like Famous 5 and Big 5, it's all coming to use now. So you notice this. It's beautiful from top to bottom. Very soft light. It's equal from top. Scroll all the way to the bottom. It's equal. There's only one problem. The problem is, if you look carefully, that light lit my finger up as well, and my thumb. Do you see this? So that's not a good thing. So one of the things that you can do, I'm going to try one more. So I'm going to click on this, come over here, use the bigger flag, and do this. So you notice that how I move my finger away, but then you're going to end up with a shot that is having a lopsided flag. So that's it. You no longer have your finger there. So maybe you can have a longer flag. But I'm going to stop right here. And here's the whole idea, is that you actually make sure that your built-in flash, even though as low as power 1/128, it doesn't spill light onto the background. And you don't need a black backdrop. Just make sure light doesn't go there. And then build a column of light. Use one light, the light goes up and then it comes down and lights up itself. So this is a little bit like your clamshell lighting in portrait, only that it's reversed. Okay, so I bet you would have questions, and I promise you that once I've done the shoot, you can ask questions. So let's go through the questions that you have, and then I'm going to answer them and show you how we can do it differently. We'll just take a look at this message that I have for you now. The news you've been waiting for, the Beyond Photography YouTube channel exclusive memberships. We have 3 levels for you to choose. Level 1 membership, you're going to get exclusive video lessons just for you. These lessons will not be found in our normal YouTube channel wall. These are video lessons that cover topics like photography, camera settings, flash, portraits, products, you name it, we have them all. And then we have the Level 2 membership. What's cool about Level 2? You get all the video lessons that you get with Level 1, plus exclusive live sessions, CNC sessions. You can ask me questions, submit photos to me where I review them and also answers any questions that you have. That's Level 2. And then we have the Level 3 membership. This membership is so cool, it covers all the perks of Level 1 and Level 2. And let me promise you this, to be good in photography, you got to work together with a pro. And with that idea in mind, you're going to get exclusive Shoot with Andrew live streaming session where you're going to be seeing me how I shoot, what mistakes I make, and immediately see the photos, and you can even shoot with me if you turn your camera on. That's how cool Level 3 is. And there you have it. I hope you support this channel like how you've always been supporting our YouTube channel, and I look forward to have you as our exclusive member. So choose 1, 2, and 3. James Sanders, well done. It seems like you are the first one and fast to get it correct. That's the problem of having your pop-up flash here and you don't cover it. So when I started photography, I didn't have the budget to invest that much in gear. So I figured out like you always need to cover this. But I like the optical trigger because it's so easy to work. Well, that said, you can get yourself a radio trigger like this that will totally have no spark of light. So James Sanders, I noticed that you wrote to us asking about the leaves and thanking us about, well, that's one of the questions that you sent. I read your email though. And here's my problem. All the kind subscribers, I read all the emails. It's just that I'm so busy. I'm shooting for my client, I'm shooting for the YouTube video, I'm shooting for the e-learning, and you know, I've got to mop the floor at home too, and wash the car, clean the kitchen and all that. So do forgive me if my reply can be late. So James Sanders, I believe you are a premium course subscriber. Reach out to us today. Write to info@beyond.photos because I would like to give you a free e-learning. So if you are premium courses, I would like to extend your subscription. Is that good? There you go. Thank you. So it's good that you answer question. Now I know why we should be doing a lot of this live view. Right, very quickly. Should I be doing it again? Yeah, I can't see you, but you know, tell me in the chat now. Suggest to the admin as well. So Rin is there. Rin is our admin. Michelle is my boss. Helen is probably there as well. Leah is there. Ayan, thank you. Ayan is our YouTube admin, and also Wahid is there. Please let them know what is the time that you prefer to have this live stream ongoing. We were like so many time zones. So we were like trying to get the good subscribers in United States first because majority of our viewers and subscribers are from United States. Thank you so much. And then we have UK, and then we have Europe, and then we have India. Rombo Nandri, thank you for the subscription. So what I want to hear is that what is the time that is good for you to watch the live stream. So James Sanders, thank you. Reach out to us today, tell us what is your subscription, and so that we can extend that subscription for you. All right, question. We got one already. It's from I Subscribe Back. That's his name on YouTube. That's his account on YouTube. But this question was like sent to us a few days ago on another shoot. So this is a topic that you have a white wall. Very simple. Just make sure that you don't hit the wall with light. And Miley on Disney. Somebody's wife just sent me a message saying that, who is Miley on Disney? I was like, what do you mean? She said, Miley on Disney said on the chat, and I read this, she said that he should get the backdrop and get rid of the wife. That's a good one though, very funny. Very funny. So you don't need a black backdrop. I'm so tempted to say you don't need a wife, but so you don't need a backdrop. Here's the important thing, right? You need to have, that's how I get a meter. 1 meter. So I have investors and I have clients renting studio for us. I always ensure that we have at very least 2 meters. So that's what you need to have, that 2 meters distance, the very least. And that explains why soundstage and studio, professional studio, are so large. Because you want to be far away from the wall. And I promise you, if you take the photo that I just shot, and then if you look at all the back, and you know, I'm going to take one now. If you look at the back, of course I'm not flagging this, and James, thank you, I know how to block this now. You will notice that the black is not that completely black. It is still spilling light. Let me explain to you why. Because when I block this, it will bounce back, and this will go up and then be down again. So that's important why you flag this. If you flag this, it will just be bouncing up and down here. It won't go there. So that's why it's so important to be further back. So when I really shoot for my client, I'll be there, flush right here. Sometimes you notice that I'll be backed up until like this. So thank God I'm thin and short. So that's, I hope, answers your question. How do I always get my background so black? Be very far away from the background. And second thing, here's the thing. A lot of trainers out there on YouTube says that, oh, shutter speed darkens the background and aperture darkens or brightens the subject. Not completely true. You notice that I shoot with very, very high f number. And that's the reason why I have this. That's the reason why I have this flash. Let me show you something. When I stand next to some of you guys, I'm going to look extra short because you guys, not because I'm short, because you guys are just too tall. You got it? You're born too tall. You guys use so much of material on earth. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to increase the power by another 3 stops. That's 1/4 now. Let me show you what happens. When I do this, I can now come to my camera. Let's cut to my camera. Are you able to see my camera now? Okay. So I was at f11. All right, always count your stop. That's 1. So you notice that I even train myself to turn the dial 1 stop. You should be doing this. So train yourself in such a way that every time you turn your camera, it's that 1 stop. Okay? So it didn't go 1 stop because I maxed out at 320. So 1 more stop. 1/32. Look at this now. So I'm going to turn the timer now. Click this. Come here. And do this now. When I do this, the light is going to be so bright, and that will make the background even darker. Got it? That's how you need to shoot with very bright light. And we know that that's going to make things brighter and darker. Come on here, add another 1 stop. So I'm at full power now. So you always wonder why people get mono blocks with 500 and 600 watt per second. So it's full power now, which means I have to come here, and that explains why I'm using this lens, because of the high f number that I can do. So I'm at f36 now. So I'm going to bring this down to 1/2, and let me show you how beautiful this can get when you really use high f value with high flash power. Stay away from that flash. Now take a look at that. That will ensure that your background goes completely back. So that's why whoever that's viewing the live stream, you should be asking questions. When you ask questions, I can teach you things that I didn't teach you earlier. So the brighter the light, the darker the background is. You got it? Like the taller you are, the shorter I'll look. So remember this. Some of you guys went up on YouTube and said that, hey, your model looks a bit fat now because of the quarantine. She's not fat. I'm fat. I make her look fat. Got it? All right. What's the next question? I'll wait for the next question. Right. Ella, is that a question? Okay. Mount this down and then go take the question. Yi Chong is like, oh, I'm holding the camera, I can't answer the question. So I've got to see the question.
What if you use the black of the car instead of the white? Isn't that get rid of the reflection?
Okay. Where? Black of the cut where? Whichever point. Okay, I'll answer this. Who wrote this question?
Lenny. This one.
All right, it's okay. It's okay. Just remember to write into us. Anybody that asks good question and then I answer it, you win yourself something. All right? So I want to know who you are. So leave your name there. Email to info@beyond.photos. And here's the thing. Right. Here's the thing. When I cover the card on my pop-up flash, I should be using black. Let me explain why. Because if I'm using white, this is gonna, that's the reason why we put here. All right, question. Anybody knows why my flag has the word here? If you subscribe to my All Access, you understand why this is such a pro thing to do. All right, so that's the next question that I have for you, which you can answer. Why do I have this thing here? Now that's it. You notice that sometimes I accidentally use white. That's a bad thing to do because that we have already established the fact that this pop-up flash is going to trigger this and that's going to bounce off that wall behind me and then light that up. That's how bad it is. So I'm wondering whether you're saying that is that why I need to use black? Right? Now here's the interesting thing. Black can be a very good reflective light source as well. But the edge is way much faster. Okay, let me show you what I mean. I'm going to click on this, come here, flip this to black, cover this. I wish I have 8 hands. Right, we're good now. Oops, that's black. You see that? Compare the two shots. That's how much of that feathering you lost. Right, so how do you overcome this problem? That explains why, I don't exactly know what you mean by why do I use the flag black or white, but I explained this and I showed you now. Can we see the photo now?
Yes.
Right, so this is a shot that was with black. This is a shot with white. So anything that has a black will have a faster fall off. So how do you overcome this if you want to use black? Black is good because it doesn't spill that much. Simple. Look, come in here. Increase the zoom, reduce the zoom. So I'm going to bring this to 24 now, which I don't normally do, but I like it. You know, it's that questions remind me of like how you go to the doctor and you say, doctor, my elbow is painful when I do this. And then the doctor say, good, stop doing that. Right. Anyhow, I'll show you how you overcome this problem if you want to use black. If you want to move your elbow even though it's painful, click on this. Come over here, use the black, and I bring it up a little bit so that it's wider. Okay, so you can clearly see a difference. Right? So that's the thing. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. All right, we'll take one more question related to this shoot that you want to ask me now. Why wouldn't you use, okay, Lenny Hules. How do I pronounce your name? Lenny Hules. The one earlier. All right, so we'll take one last question. If that's a good question, if you can give me 2 questions, we'll take it at the same time. I'm going to come here and reduce the zoom, increase the zoom again to 50. So you notice that we are shooting, the flash still has 1 stop. Okay, DG Cam Recording, thank you for writing and asking us, what is the lowest shutter speed you can use for this type of shoot? Interesting. That's really good. That will allow me to do a lot of stuff. Let me just quickly show you something, right? I'm going to do something quite fun here. I'm going to bring the shutter speed down. I'm at f36 now. So I'm going to reduce my ISO. So I'm going to my camera now. A few things you need to do. If you look at my f value, it is maxed out at 36. All right? Here's what I do. I can still drop this 1 more stop. I can still drop this 1 more stop. So I am now, if I take a shot now, I'm going to be 3 stops under because this is not full power yet. So I'm going on full power now. Okay, so here's the thing. I hope I don't drop this. DGM recording, if I drop this, that's because we tried to answer your question. Right, now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring the shutter speed down to as low as 2 seconds. Right, watch this now. I'm not going to go on timer now. I've got to make sure that I don't overexpose. Let's click. Overexpose. 2 seconds is just overexposed. How do I know that? Look at the wall now. It's turning gray. That's too much of light. But my point is this. If this is done in a situation that has no light, none of these video lights, we switch them off. I cannot do this because if I do this, you won't be able to see me. It's bad. You cannot see your teacher. And then if I do this at night because it's morning now, I can pull this off at 2 seconds. But that's it. I can slap on a filter that darkens this. My point is this. If I get to do 2 seconds in a dark environment, I can move this around and go 1, 2 different shots. So you can go as low as 1 second. I'll try to do this. And my flash is at full power. That's not helping. I'll try to do this at 2 seconds. Am I fast enough? I'm going to go on timer. So this is 2 seconds. No, 1/3 of a second. Okay. So, am I on timer? Click on this. Put this here. Right, so yeah, I still get 1 click. I can actually do 2 clicks, and then what you can do is that, my point is that if the shutter speed is low enough, done in a dark room, so this doesn't really work. Okay, I've got to reconnect my transmitter. Okay. So you notice that at 1/3 of a second, I wasn't fast enough to move the flash twice. So if you bring this down to 2 seconds in a dark room, this is so bright. This is brighter than me shooting outdoor because of all these lights. Let's show them all the lights that we have on. That's how much of light we have on. Right? So if you were to do this on a dark day, in a dark place, bring this down to 2 seconds. I think we did this before. If you watch the episode of the lady from India, asking me how to shoot jewelry. I did it in a very dark room. I switched off all the lights and I used torchlight and took my time to do it. It's the same concept. You can actually do this, and this is going to be even more exquisite. So DGM recording, answering your question, you can really go low on the shutter speed. The reason is because this thing doesn't move. That thing doesn't move. When they don't move, you can be moving. And here's one thing I want to try. Is there any more question? If you don't have any more question, let's try something really different. I want to show you something. I haven't done this before for this kind of shoot, but theoretically it may work. Okay, we are all good. Let's try something. No more questions?
Okay, one question. Can't we shut down the built-in flash rather than covering it?
That's a question that sounds like, okay, someone asked, can't we shut down the built-in flash instead of covering it? That's like, doctor, I want to lose weight, but I want to continue eating. You can't. Then what's going to trigger this? Right? So here's the thing. When you're on optical trigger, that has to trigger this. So if you put that down, this won't work. And that explains why you need to have a radio trigger. If you put one radio trigger here, which is a transmitter, and then the receiver here, then that works. Okay, let's try this now. I want to try something anyhow, so we might as well answering 2 questions at one go. Plug this in. And when you have a radio trigger on, one important tip that you must learn is that this was on optical trigger. If that light goes off, this goes off. But when you plug in a radio trigger, make sure you off the optical trigger. That's like having 2 teachers now telling you 2 different things. You won't know who to follow. All right? So in this case, I'm going to go in here and make sure that I turn off the optical trigger. By doing that, I'm telling the flash that, hey, listen to the radio trigger. So at 1/32 now, turn this on. Come over here, turn this on as well. Strike. Good, it works. And then come here. Are we connected to the camera now?
No.
Okay, I'm waiting for my wireless transmitter to be connected there. So while waiting for this, is there any question that you'd like to ask? Because this will be the last demonstration that I do live on this shoot. So I'm going to show how a radio trigger works. Okay, so strike. Okay, so I shouldn't be shooting with such a... Right, let's take a shot now to see whether my exposure is still correct because we changed it so much. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to go on timer now. Click here, and here's the thing. I'm going to stand behind here this time. The trick is that as long as I don't get light, I'm fine. Let's see whether you see me standing at the back. Like a champ. Look at it. You can't even see me. So who needs a black background? No, you don't need to. You don't even need a white wall. You can do this in the middle of Sahara Desert. Just make sure that you're going to have the flash hitting you. This is so interesting. The only problem that annoys me is that little fleck. So you notice that I can come here and really do this. That will envelop the light even better and turn it this way a little bit. Right, this should do the trick now. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Except for the fact that you can see a little bit of my hand and then you can see a little bit of that flag on the left and right. But look, just forget about the flag. All right, just look at the product now. Look at it. It's so beautiful now, right? So I'm tempted to do one more. So you can actually use your image editing software and come in here, go into menu, look at your trim, right? Look, you can click OK to go in and trim this. So how do you do this? I don't normally do this. Okay, press the plus button to, right, whatever it is, my point is that you can actually trim this tighter. Okay, one last shot. While waiting for the last question to come in, click. This time I'm not going to be greedy. I'm just going to do this, that's all. I can still stand at the back. Did the flash go off? The flash didn't go off. That's the problem that I always say. Strike, trigger it. Because radio trigger goes to sleep too notoriously. So you notice how I hold the flag so that I don't see my own hand. And done. That's the last shot. Good. It's beautiful. Just see a little bit of flag. I still prefer this shot. Look at that. So, James Sander, thanks for writing to us. I hope this answers your question. The camera just blacked out a little bit. It's strange, you know, that camera. Even though we have a live feed, sometimes it would just go. So, James Sander, that's how you shoot Swarovski or crystal on your own with just one flash. You don't even need the radio trigger. But you notice what, right? Drink your coffee and hold the flag at the same time. Okay, no more question? If there's none, we'll take a short break and then we're going to do another shot. Hey, welcome back. This is the second shoot based on an email that I get. The question is, item like this, and this is the reflective item that we're going to learn to shoot today. A silver horse. I love this. I bought this years ago and I've been using this to teach reflective photography. So what I'm doing now is the same thing. I remove dust from all this, and if you look at this, I've got an acrylic sheet, black in color. It is so affordable. You can go up to your nearest signboard store, you know, those stores that make signboard and billboards, get them to cut you something like half a meter, and then that's good. Let me go through with you the camera settings now. So if you look at my setting, it's pretty much the same as the previous one. My ISO is still 200. I always like to start with 200, and then it's f611. But this time, I'm going to do an f16 shot. Why? Because I want it to appear darker. And my shutter speed is always 200. Because whenever I want the shot to be more shadowy, I ensure that I have a shutter speed not breaking sync. If I'm higher than this, I will probably break sync and get half the picture black because the shutter starts closing. And that's it. One of the viewers actually asked me, yes, if you look at my camera setting, I'm actually on rear shutter, which means that the flash will fire just right before the curtain closes. Okay, and then my white balance. These are the standard things that I do. 5260 on the Kelvin. I never use an auto white balance. Hit onto my picture control. I'm on vivid. All right, so back to all my settings. And let me show you the angle that you're looking at now. This angle that you're looking at now is very important where you're going to learn a process called light source tracing. So that's the angle that I'm going to be shooting. Now I'm going to go behind this whole shoot and I'm going to wave my hand. At one point you're going to be seeing my hand right about here, superimposed right above the horse, right? Am I right? That's here. Now that's where you're supposed to put the light. This process here is so important shooting reflective item. You do not light up the horse. You light up what the horse is reflecting and what this acrylic sheet is reflecting. And that's it. I want you to hold that position while I drag in a flag. This is just a mounting board that I clamp on top of my light stand. So I'm going to position it here. Am I covering the acrylic sheet now? I can't see, so you have to maintain that angle. So you're going to be talking to me now. So I use the light stand to position this good enough. That's good. So this is just a mounting cut that I position right about here. And here's the thing. So whenever I put my hand here, that's it. So whatever that I fire a flash on. Now look at my whole setup now. If you look at my whole setup now, this is how it looks like. So you notice that you don't need a C-stand. As long as you get a light stand and balance this. So you notice that I put a butterfly clamp here on a light stand. And I position this just right about here. The only problem that I have with this gobo, this gobo head and this C-stand, even though it's robust, it's a bit too high. I can't go any lower, and this tool is too low. So this is good. I'm going to position this just right about here. Now I'm going to go to the front and grab my camera and put it on to my tripod. And look through the viewfinder. Good. I presume I can see the light stand. I can see the reflection now. So here's an important thing. I always turn the focus to the acrylic sheet now. All right? Let me show you what I mean here. This light stand is being reflected here, so I've got to move this whole setup back because your angle and my angle now wasn't exactly the same because we moved. All right, so this should be good. So I'm going to go to the front and check this again. So my camera now is focused on the reflection on the acrylic sheet, no longer on the horse now. Yep, so I can still see. So I've got to move this back. So that's the beautiful part about shooting reflective product. What you see is not what you get. You should be seeing the reflected things, not what you see through the camera and your eyes and all that. What you see on the reflection. Still a little bit more. Move this to the back a little bit more. There, a little bit. See, everything is reversed, which makes this so interesting. So I'm going to come this here. So if you look at this whole setup, you'll find it really strange. I'm lighting this up, but I'm setting up things there. That's because it's based on what I see in the reflection still a little bit more. And that thing has got to come down a little bit more. Right, just right about here maybe. So I'm going to lower this and just about here. Let's hope this is better. Good. Oh, just a little bit more. Either if you're shooting something that is not reflective, this would have been done. But we need to take a look at the reflection now. Okay. That side more. Oh boy, a lot more. All right, so I'm going to adjust my camera angle a little bit. I'm going to go nearer a little bit, go down a little bit. Good. This is the angle. Too bad I can't show you now until I've taken the shot, so just bear with me. Good. That's the angle. So I'm going to flip this to manual focus. So now what I need to do is to light up that mounting board there. So all I need to do is just grab one flash. So I'm going to grab my hot shoe flash and position this here. Turn this on. What is the power to use? I'm going to go on high power this time. I'm going to go on a zoom of about 105. Lift this up. Point it to here, go full power. I'll explain to you why I go full power. In the previous shot, we go low power. So this time I'm going to teach you how to err on the high side. The one that we did was err on the lower side. Make a mistake on the lower side. So I'm going to bounce this here. This should light up the whole flag now. Make sure that you're on optical trigger. I wasn't on optical trigger. So set this to optical trigger. Done. So when my flash goes off, that flash goes off. So full power at a zoom of 105. Right, so I'm going to strike and take a look at the pattern. So don't look directly at it, just the corner of your eye. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to come here now, cover this flash, make sure that I'm focused, flip it to manual focus now, cover this, take a shot. Take a look at this. This is all beautiful. We only have one small problem. So take a look at this shot. The lighting is all good except that it is two-stop overexposed. And if you zoom into this photo, you notice that I was standing too close and that flag was lighting me up. So I got to get out of the way. Simple. Let's solve the first problem is we got to come in here and reduce the flash power by about 2 stops. Or I can always come to the camera, look at my camera setting, go higher. That's 1 stop. That's the next stop. Okay, so I'm going to turn this flash this side a little bit. Set this on timer. Click this, move away. Always go behind the camera because that way the flash won't hit you. Take a look at the photo. Beautiful. That's how you know you got a good lighting because you only have highlight, mid-tone and clean shadows. I'm not too happy that the light seems to focus on that spot that much. So we're going to solve that now. So we eliminated all the too bright of a light. So we're going to come here and increase the zoom, reduce the zoom power a little bit. So we're going to go with about 50 now. So it's going to be a wider illumination pattern here. Same thing, I'm on manual focus. That's the reason why I go on manual focus. Click this and go to the back. You can go drink your coffee now. Done. This should be a beautiful shot now. That's exquisite. And then you're now asking me, why is the horse so dark? Simple. Just like the shot before. This is what we're going to learn to do. We're going to take one flag, put it here, and put one flash here. I know I've got to introduce another light source, but I'm not going to do that first. So what I'm going to do, if you notice, if you look at this photo, there's a little bit of highlight at the hindquarters of this little horse here. Do you see that? This one, this annoying thing, that's your pop-up flash. So what do we need to do? Precisely, we need to cover it. Or you can use a radio trigger. So this is my trusty second flag. Simple, look. Click on this, come here, and do this. Oh, here's the thing I can tell you. You see no picture now. The reason is because that this flash was covered so well, it didn't even go off good enough. So don't cover it too much. Give a bit of gap. And one more time. That or this actually was covering the horse. So I think I was covering the horse too much. So one more time. Done. That's how simple it is. As elegant as you can go with just one light. So you don't even need to turn on another flash here. So here's the logic. When I cover this, it prevents that ugly speck of specular highlight that we get at the back here. And then when I introduce this particular flag, that light is going to light up the horse and the acrylic sheet and still bounce enough of light here. That explains why I was on full power just now, because I want to bounce all this light. And when you're far away, that full power doesn't really amount to anything. So we're going to do a few ways. We're going to orientate this a few ways. So you notice that it's a little bit dark on the horse body. That's something that you can control with your shutter speed. So I'm going to drop my shutter speed to 100. Drop it 1 stop. What does it do? Shutter speed actually controls the brightness and darkness of shadow, not so much the background. So we're going to do this one more time. Orientate this differently. Cover this. There you go. The shot that with the lower shutter speed of 1/100 and compare this. So you notice that it's got a broader flag when I do the flag this way, because when I create a flag vertically, it's going to have a bigger surface area at the top. When I do this, I'm not doing anything to help the horizontally. If you look at the horse, if you look at the photo now, you notice that the horse is long, it's not tall. So having my flag this way, sometimes it's not creating enough of surface area. So when I do this, it's even more. Great. Let's see what are the angles we can do before we take your question. Let's change this angle to something else. So I'm going to change this to another angle. Okay, focus. Don't get contented with just one shot, because one of these days when you go professional, you're going to have a website and webpage with all your galleries. So 5 seconds is a little bit too, so I'm going to change a little bit too short for me. So I'm going to go with a self-timer of 10 seconds. Okay, so everything else, if you notice, my F value is F32. Same thing. Now I'm going to focus. That's the macro lens. Okay, flip it to manual. That's why I always flip it to manual, because it allows me to come here and do this. So I've got 10 seconds now. So I can like slowly do stuff like this. Oh, look at this composition. It's even sweeter. Let's look at the histogram. Oh, just fall in love with the histogram, isn't it? It's such a healthy mid-tone with bright shadow and a bright highlight. No overexposure at all, even though there's a small, tiny little line there. And look at that, very dark shadow. It's exquisite. So let's take your question. Before that, I want you to enjoy all the pictures we have been taking today. Ni ready ni, số xăng lại cho hốt là ni bữa ok. You good?
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you for all the attention and concentration for the shoot just now with the horse. And I'm going to take question on the horse itself and whatever question that you have on the perfume bottle as well. And hello? YouTube police? What's wrong? Oh, you want to detain Mr. Magni Ahsani? Because he's like spamming the same question over and over again? No, don't do that. He's a good guy. He's just new in photography and he's excited, so he's worried that I won't answer his question. Got you, didn't I? There's no such thing as a YouTube police. So, Magni, don't worry. We read your question, right? I may not have 8 hands, but I have 8 eyes here in the studio. So we got your question. So Magni, thanks for writing in like 21,000 times. In fact, someone wanted to get you kicked off because you asked the same question. But okay, apology accepted. Your question is that why do I shoot in low light condition? Why do I shoot in, why sometimes when I'm photographing in the dark, some pictures are distorted and saturated with magenta and pink. And automatic white balance doesn't work well in certain, oh, okay, that's another question. So your question is that why is your picture distorted when you shoot in the dark and your color get saturated with magenta and pink? Magni, the answer is stop shooting in the dark. That was a joke. That was a little bit like you go up to the doctor and then you say that, hey doctor, my elbow is painful when I do this, and then the doctor says stop doing that. Okay, go back. No, Magni, the actual answer is that really you shouldn't be shooting in the dark. If you do, you should fire a flash. Go watch the episode on how flash, I think I did an episode on YouTube not too long ago that shows why you should fire a flash. In fact, I even fire a flash in bright situation outdoor because it's so useful. If you watch the one that I did with Model K, you notice that even though it's bright outdoor, I just fire a flash and it actually kills ambient. Right, you may not have a flash. So here's the thing. The problem is that the automatic white balance is truly not accurate when you are in low light condition. When you're in low light condition, you don't have enough of light. When you don't have enough light, let me tell you what happens. The camera would tend to perceive it as low light, and low light burning source, light source, would tend to be yellowish, and that's how you get those kind of distorted color. So very simple, increase your ISO, and I hope there's nothing more than 3200 on the ISO or 6400 on the ISO. If it is, you have two choices, stop shooting there or add on a flash. That's no other way. Or you can go to Kelvin, bring the number down to 3320. If you own a Nikon, if you own a Canon, it's 3000 Kelvin. I hope that answers your question. Right, so remember, you just need to write to us one time or twice and that's it. Okay, and to continue, I'd like to say thank you. We have almost 200 subscribers and viewers watching us live right now. So thanks for the support. And more importantly, I want to thank all the kind people that have been visiting our e-learning website here, www.beyond.photos. There's a lot of e-learning stuff there. You should head on there. In fact, some of you were asking questions that I've done a lot of tutorials on. In fact, there are free courses there. You have if you click on the e-learning section, you realize that we have 3 or 4 courses there. And that's what we're going to be doing. Since last year and this year, you notice that I spend a lot of time teaching because equally as affected as all industry because of COVID-19, I'm spending more time on education because we don't get to shoot that much. In fact, I only get to come to the office and studio like 2 times a day. It's so challenging. And we are under our second lockdown now. It's a full lockdown. Thank God we got a permit to work. Well, here's the thing, but coming to work for some of my co-workers can take 2 hours. So if we are delayed in some of the videos and all this, I hope you forgive us. And talking, Miley, I got to say thank you to you because you're always on our YouTube channel asking questions, giving comments, and always telling people that how much you enjoy our lesson. Thank you, appreciate so much. Miley is one of our subscribers to the premium courses, and I think maybe even all access. Thank you for your support. If you subscribe to the premium courses, you're gonna get a wide genre topic of photography that covers portrait, flash, stock photography, camera settings, composition. We have product as well. We just added artistic photography editing, and every week you get 1 or 2 lessons uploaded on this wide genre topic. So if you have limited budget, the name may sound premium courses, but if you have limited budget, this is the one that you need to subscribe. Because if you go to the website of Beyond.Photos, you click on premium courses, you realize that it goes by monthly subscription or you can have yearly. It's really affordable. We created premium courses with one idea in mind, that when the world undergoes lockdown, one thing must happen. You may lose your job, you may lose your career, but you must never stop learning. So Miley, I want to say thank you for always learning because you pay attention to all the videos, you really give good comments, and appreciate it. So back to the question. Okay, previously asked, oh, this is Miley's question. Why flash and continuous light are so different? Flash will stop motion, continuous light won't, precisely. About 10 days ago, my crew and I filmed a very interesting video, and we put that on our YouTube exclusive members. You know by now that we have these YouTube exclusive members because YouTube actually awarded us after 5 years, YouTube finally gave us the ability to have membership where you can pay and subscribe and we can put exclusive content in there. And those videos that you see in YouTube exclusive members will not be available on our website, will not be on the free YouTube channel as well. It's exclusive. The videos there are equally fun, more bloopers, more demi, more model, more learning, and at the same time longer. And here's the thing. So I was playing the yo-yo and I fling the yo-yo out and we freeze it with shutter speed like below 100. So Miley, your question is, why does it freeze so well? Simple. Because if you look at the flash, let me turn on the flash now and show you what happens. A lot of people don't realize this. I'm going to go on full manual now, Miley. So I'm going to go on manual now. It's full power. Watch what happens. I'm not going to aim at the camera, so get a habit of saying strike when you want to strike a flash. Watch. Do you hear the ting? That's like Iron Man goes ting. That sound, Miley, is the condensers in there that charges itself. And flash has the ability of freezing motion because it goes bam, that much of power, that quickly, and that's why it's be so bright. Let me put it this way. If you were to accidentally stare into a video continuous light, you won't go blind. I'm looking at them now. They're bright to our eyes because they're continuous. But then if I accidentally look at a full power flash, I will assure you, you will go blind. I guarantee you. I remember I strike the flash once, strike on a plastic bag. Strike it and it burned the plastic bag. That's how strong the flash is. So I hope that answers the question. That instantaneous, very quick strike of light is so powerful, it freezes motion. It's just like Bruce Lee and his wacha! You see that? Yes, it's so fast that the camera can't even freeze it because of the frame rate. So some of you asked, did his flash go off? All right, let me bring the power down so that I don't hurt your eye and fire it directly into the camera. You can't see it. It's faster than your frame rate of the camera, isn't it? So that's the thing. My flash do go off, but the camera's 25 frames per second or 30 frames per second is just not fast enough because the flash duration of this is 1/64,000th of a second. And the lower the power, Miley, the faster the flash. Okay, so that's the question. And let's look at it. James Sanders, question for Andrew. You asked me about, hey, I got these vintage lenses. What is your advice? Should I buy new ones? Should I maintain vintage lenses? All things back then is not.
Just now no battery, the audio comes into here, no audio. Just now no audio for a few seconds.
No?
Now got it.
Sorry. That's the problem with mirrorless camera. Where do I look to now?
Okay.
Where do I look to now?
Anyway.
Oh, okay. Mirrorless cameras are so annoying to work with. They run out of battery 2 times, 3 times in a shoot like this because the EVF and all that is consuming so much of battery. So if you didn't hear my audio just now, I wouldn't know. That's why we couldn't even monitor it. Can you monitor this camera so that I know that if I get cut off? Because I can be talking for 2 hours and then the battery dies and I'm still talking and then Miley can't even hear what I was saying.
Yes.
Right, so James Sanders' question is that how do I figure out? Very simple. Can I quickly answer this as a last shoot. Let's move on to the next question, because James, I'm going to come back to you and show you how I'm going to work with the flash if I don't know the power. Is that good? Let's do another question. So I'll give you a rain check on that question. So I've got a screen here that I can see all your questions. I've got a tablet here as well. Miley won a mirrorless camera on YouTube last week. I love it. All right, Miley, I believe you asked about whether I'm giving away stuff. Right, listen carefully. We have a lot of brands that approach us that says that, hey, we like the way you do review. You got your good points, your bad points, and would you be willing to do that for us? I love to do review because it builds brands and it also educates the viewers and all that. But there will be one or two of those pain in the butt subscribers or viewers. I don't think they're subscribers. I think they're just viewers passing by. They'll always go down there and say, oh, he says so many nice things, so probably get paid. We don't get paid. The moment we go up to brands and say, pay me for a review, they will just go to other channel, smaller channel, because they just want to be able to get the product reviewed. So here's the thing. When we do review, we make sure that we are fair. If it is good, we say it's good. And the reason why I'm telling you this, Miley, and all our viewers out there, is that when we do review, if it's good, the brands will come back and say that, wow, appreciate the good feedback. Thank you for the honesty. And I always say we'll have good points and we'll have bad points. If your bad points more than good points, we don't even want to review it because we didn't start this channel to ruin brands. So that's it. When we do reviews, please to have a high EQ to understand that it's not paid and don't leave all those nasty comments out there. And there are not many. I get one or two. And second thing, when reviewers come, we do a good review, they will come back and sponsor more tutorials. And they even come back and tell us that, hey, would your channel like to have us giving away sliders, a wireless microphone, lenses, attachment, adapters? See? So we got to think bigger. As subscribers and viewers on YouTube, I need to work with you is that we need to have higher EQ and be more kind when we make comments. Because every time somebody makes a lousy comment, the brands would read this and then you hurt them. I know, you can't say that, oh, that thing doesn't work, I don't like it, that's good. But sometimes somebody will just say nasty things. Not so much on our channel, but I see it a lot. Nasty, unkind things. When that happens, they don't want to sponsor tutorials anymore. And thank God our tutorials have been free and free from sponsorship. But my point is this. They do not want to give free giveaway anymore. So let me assure you this. I've got good brands out there. People like Holyland waiting to do giveaways. Waiting to do giveaways. And we have people like, what's the name of the slider? Zepon. Zepon wanted to give us 2 sliders to give away because they just enjoyed the review. Not because I say good things. They said that your subscribers really interacted. They were good comments. So would you like to give away? So here's the thing. I need to work with you. We're going to do more positive, kind comments. I'm not saying that you have to go say nice things. But the point is that we got to be friendly. And then when that happens, I'm going to do a fast one. And then Sony go like, oh, Sony, you want to give a giveaway to, oh, Miley. Oh, really? Yeah. So back to the question. Why do you use rear curtain flash most of the time, Bruce Smith? Bruce Smith, answering your question, that means you're going to win yourself an e-learning. Email us. We'll tell you what you win. That's under the admins, the enrollment admins jurisdiction. They'll tell you what you win. But I think you're going to win premium courses, a 6-month subscription. Why do I use rear curtain flash most of the time? I don't use rear curtain flash most of the time. Bruce, I use rear curtain flash all the time. Let me explain to you this analogy. You got this elevator. You're waiting on the elevator. You're waiting outside the elevator on the 11th floor. You're about to go down. And then the elevator comes out. Ding! The door opens. The door opens is the first curtain. And then what does the door do? The door closes, right? So Bruce and all the viewers, this is important for you to understand. When the door opens, you don't rush into the elevator, do you? You wait for people to come out. So when the door opens, that's the first curtain. So the camera's curtain opens it doesn't open that way. It actually slides up. But just for you to easy to understand, it opens, that's the first curtain, and then it closes. So two things can happen. The moment you open, you fire a flash, and then the door and the curtain hasn't closed yet, there is a possibility that there's movement, and then the door closes, the curtain closes. That is why first curtain doesn't freeze motion half as well, nowhere as well as rear curtain. So the point is that you should only get into the elevator just right before the door closes. Don't be like those guys that from my part of the village. When the elevator goes in and they go like, excuse me, they go in there and then no one can come out. So the point is this, set it to rear curtain almost all the time. I don't need you to be like me. I put it all the time. But once in a while, I'm going to have fashion creative directors come up to me and say, oh, Andrew, I like to have blurry shots of my model when they do this. When they fling their hair, I want to have blurry shot, but I want the dress to be still. Can you do that? When that happens, I will switch to front curtain. When I want blurry shot, I go front curtain. You know, when I want to do shutter drag, right? We're going to do an episode on shutter drag that does perceived motion. Then I do front curtain. If I want a freeze motion, then it's rear curtain. So curtain open, don't fire the flash first. Just right before the curtain closes, fire the flash. I hope that answers your question, Bruce. And one last question. Okay, this comes from Virinder Patney. Your question is being asked and answered here, which means that you win yourself an e-learning course. And face detection, this is not a very good question to ask online, but I'll answer it anyway. Questions that you can read from the menu. Okay, face detection is not working on my Nikon D7200. Very simple. It works only on video, if I'm not wrong. This is a 7100, one generation older. So Ella, I'm going to cut to the camera now. Okay, so you can see my... Okay, so I'm going to go on video now. Right? So if I go on video and then I add on my... Holding on this button now. So you notice that I can turn this to face and then turn this to face. So you notice that it focuses, but I need a face. So I'm going to quickly stand up and show you the great people that I have the honor of working with. That's our filming director, Yi Chong. He's really fabulous to work with. This is the guy that had to spend 2 hours every day coming to work. Say thanks to him. And then we have Ella. So Miley, you were asking me whether I'm stressed out. She's more stressed out than all of us. So you notice that both of them have to follow the standard operating procedure in Malaysia now. They have their mask on so that I don't need to have my mask on. So you notice that face detection works. So you see the square. Do we see the square following on my video there? Yes. Right, so that's face detection. It only works on video. So if I go off video and I go to a camera mode now, so you notice that it still works on, yeah. Okay. So you notice that it works when you're on the live view. But the moment you go off live view and you go with this, it stops working. It doesn't work anymore. So I hope that question is answered. Okay. So back to, is this our last question? I promised you an hour. How long have we been doing this? 1 hour and 30 minutes. We're famous for not wasting time. How do you like our live stream so far? I'll give you 5 minutes to answer that. Because they say that positive reviews gives positive outcome. Quickly, tell us how you like this live view, this live stream. It's pretty good, isn't it? We made a lot of effort. We rehearsed a lot. We set up our camera a lot. There are so many cables running around in this studio, you wouldn't believe it. Okay, so how many people are we having looking at us now? That's 149. That's a good number. All right, Jim Sutherland asked the last question. What was your favorite aspect for doing this live video? Simple, 16.9. That's what our camera can do. Okay. Smokey's channel, thank you, is great. Miley on Disney, love it, love you too. And Ikuraishi, I second that. Thank you. You were the guy that said that my flag was using the white side to block. See? Teacher have 8 eyes. Okay, Alan Tank, my good friend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in. Flora, you're one of my students, real life student here, right? I'm so sorry. Last year and this year, we couldn't do any real life classes. So this is what we are doing now. This is the best real life class. But with so many cameras, I guarantee you it's even better than our real life class, isn't it? Nothing beats this. You can see my camera. It jumps straight to my camera. Just very quickly, jump to my menu now, Ella. Right, you can see that I can jump to the menu now. You can even have this in real life class and go in there and show you stuff like bracketing and flash. That's how great this is. We're going to do more of this live stream. And here's the thing. We need your support on the YouTube exclusive membership area where we're going to do more live stream there. That's what that part is dedicated to. Live streams and more focused exclusive videos. We're still going to do live stream here, but not that frequent. Okay?
There is an audio feedback on this one.
Okay. All right, so I'm looking at any more questions that we missed. Thank you, Smokey. Bills, Neil Silk Road, thank you. Jason Rubalcaba, I learned tons from this guy. Great teacher, thank you. I learned tons from this guy too. Good comment. Wade Tran, oh, you're from Wade Tran, you're from Jan. T-R-A-N in Vietnamese means Jan. You don't pronounce it as Tran, right? So Wade Jan, and you're from LA. Thank you so much. You've been saying that you want to subscribe to our courses. I read the comments. Thank you, Andrew and Beyond Grow for this season. Okay, any more last questions? Okay. Right. Oh, okay. I just remembered something. It's supposed to be a public holiday, and that's how the crew wants me to tell them that why are we working on a holiday? Well, that's the reason why we do this, because it's a holiday, people can stay home, Malaysians can stay home, and happy Thaipusam. January Nanban, happy Thaipusam. I wish you all have a good holiday, and is there any more things you want to ask me before we end this live stream? Okay, one last one. Sam Stormborn Omandi, that's your question. I want to learn to create videos so that I can start my own YouTube channel. I've got some equipment, might need a microphone, but I'm really bad at talking to the camera. Can you offer any advice on this, please? That's truly a very good question. Yichong, thank you for selecting this question. It looks like with the pandemic, a lot of brands, a lot of individuals noticed that, hey, one of the best ways to go out and reach people is from a YouTube channel. And let me share with you this. The ability to talk to a camera needs years of training, need hours and hours of rehearsal. How do you think I get those bloopers that you laugh so much? I kill Ella every time I roll a video because I may do 7 bad takes. So one thing I want to teach you now is that making video is important. Having better microphone is more important than video. Let me show you what I mean. I'm just going to walk away now. And when I walk away, you can hear me talk. I'm going to talk about using high air value. When you use high air value, you can use high flash power. With high flash power, you're going to get darker shadows and higher contrast. What am I proving to you? I'm proving to you that without being able to see me, you can still understand me. Now, I am going to talk, but I'm going to cut away my audio. You can't hear me now. Could you understand me? See, good video is meaningless if the audio is not there. So great audio is important. But let me tell you what's greater than audio. Good editing and better editor like Ella. You can do all the bad takes and then cut them away and then still look like that superstar that you have on this YouTube channel called Beyond Photography. You may kiss her hand now. So that's what I want to tell you. Be good in editing so you can snip that away, do a few takes, sit down, roll the camera. The camera's autofocus now is so good you can sit down here and then rehearse. Hi, my name is Sam. Today we're going to talk about the importance of using high F value. High F number. Run it again. And even though you make mistake, you can cut that away and just continue. You don't need to start from the start. You can just cut in, cut out. You notice we do that a lot to our videos. So whenever I do a bad take, Ella will just zoom in a little bit, snip away, and then when I do another mistake, she zooms out. So you notice that makes things very fast-paced and interesting. So here's the thing. One last parting advice before we end this live stream is that, Sam, if you're not good in talking in front of the camera, I want you to take a look. Go to Facebook and look at this guy, Hashim Al-Ghaili. He runs a Facebook channel, and every day you're going to see 2 videos from him. There is no audio. He doesn't talk to it. He just has subtitle, nice videos playing, animations going, and then just music. And that's one of the smartest new generation of video there is, because you're sitting in an MRT or in the toilet. You don't want to turn on the audio. You just look at your phone and you can hear it, right? So don't be that annoying guy in the subway listening to all this really loud like your father owns the MRT. Stop doing that. So that's how Hashim Al-Ghaili does it. Another one, go take a look at Racer TV. If you're a motorcycle gearhead, you would know this channel, Racer TV on YouTube. Go look at it. He uses an automatic robotic voice. You just go to this website, put in all the script, and then play it, record it. So Racer TV always have the same robotic, and he has a lot of followers. He's going to go like, hi, thank you for watching Racer TV. Today, we're going to be evaluating a new motorcycle. That's how you do it. So you don't need to be good in talking. So don't be good in talking, because then this host would have nothing to do. I'm kidding. All right, so I want to thank all of you for joining us on this live stream. It's been an hour and 45 minutes now, I presume. It's been interesting doing this live. So before we go, I hope that you drop by our e-learning website. That's www.beyond.photos. Check out our e-learning. This is where I'm spending a lot of time building a huge collection of video lessons. We got food photography, we got colors in photography, and you notice that pet photography, food photography, colors in photography, these are new courses. Every time we have a new courses, when we are developing it, when we're filming it, when we're editing it, we open them for pre-sale at a promo price. So you save about 50%. That's the point. And when it's launched, you save 50%. And then you have the premium courses as well. Premium courses, every week you're going to get lessons of wide genre. So if there's anything that I want to appeal to you, please, after COVID-19 pandemic is over, don't be just a wedding photographer. Don't be just a food photographer. Don't be just an event photographer. I'm able to sit down here and still be able to run my business, even though it's tough. Is because that we are multidisciplinary photographers. We can do event, we can do product, we can do reflective, we can do portraits, we can do business portrait, we can do editing, we can do videos. Speaking of which, did you watch the Chinese New Year video ad that we did for Simplicity? So you need to be good in all aspects. And if you want to be good in all aspects and be able to survive anything, subscribe to premium courses. It's really affordable. It's not that expensive as well. And then from there, you grow on your portrait, be really good at it. That's where you go to e-learning. So you notice that we have e-learning, business portrait and photography, e-learning portrait photography, e-learning online business photography, e-learning on how to shoot manual mode, e-learning on remote flash. That's what the e-learning is. One topic, very deep. And then finally, this is so important, because one of my directors and investor told me many years ago, when times are bad, money won't help you. When times are bad, education will. A good degree will. A good certification will. And degree is so outdated. I've got like 2.5 degrees. Let me tell you this. What's more important is that these degrees take too long. So that's why we created the online ProCert program. The idea is that in 3 months to 6 months, you can get yourself all this certified, and you have a website that justifies all this certification. So we already have close to 200 subscribers doing this online ProCert program. When they graduate, they're going to get themselves 4 certificates and their evaluations. We spend a lot of time building the evaluations, assignment, and this wonderful thing that we have on our website called star rating. It's not just the trainer rating your work, peers from all over the world. So if you go to online ProCert program, you realize that we have photographers from all over the world. It really looks like a World Cup there. We have Vietnamese, we have Singaporean, we have Pakistani, we have everybody there. And sometimes they write to me, they say, Andrew, I'm so stressed up because I look at all those photographers from this country, they're really good. I say, great, that's how you grow. So with this star rating, your peers will rate your photos, and that's how we manage your points in the whole online ProCert program. And I can guarantee you, no e-learning website provides a certification program like us, as fast as us, as effective as us. I know some of you are subscribed to that and you're probably here. Please share with the viewers here how important this is. So that's it. I look forward to do another live stream with you. And don't forget, check out our YouTube exclusive members. All this is important now because, to be honest with you, our income as a photographer is affected. I can do 2 things. I can stay home and be really sad about it and cry and then start losing employees. But we decided that we're going to channel ourselves to put more education, things that we've always wanted to do. Let me tell you this. For the past 20 donkey years, we spent so much time serving our client. No complaints. But the problem is that we never really get to do the things that we want to do. It's like every time we get a project from customers or commercial ads or whatever, they'll be telling us what kind of highlight they want. We are just lighting slaves, really. Yeah, we get paid, but no job satisfaction. So when COVID-19 happens, we thought that, hey, that's going to be affected. Why not all of us spend more time on building quality education? Why I say that? Because every time I come to YouTube, there will be comments saying that we totally enjoy your video because this guy here doesn't waste time. He just go in there and start teaching. And today is the only day that I'm talking longer than I'm supposed to be. So, thank you. Vanakkam, and I'll see you again.